I mentioned before the break, Dan, Rashard Higgins still a free agent. He's been with the Browns the last 3 seasons. What do you think? Can they? Of course, it's a new regime, but do you think they'd take an extra look or two at Rashard Higgins?
I think it's still on the table, possibly, but the fact that he's still out there and they haven't just brought him back is telling. This is a guy that Andrew Berry was involved in drafting him back in 2016, so he's got that going for him, but last year was a really difficult year for him. Ended up in Freddie Kitchens' doghouse, couldn't really get on the field. He did score the game-winning touchdown against Buffalo. That was kind of his moment, one of his 4 catches from last year.
Right.
This is a guy that's coming off a really disappointing year.
Well,
and I just think the Browns are going to keep their options open.
How about the first year? He had 50 targets, an awful lot for a player like that. Then I think he got down. What did it get down to last year? 4, just 4.
Yeah, it was not a very high number, and again, just the 1 touchdown too.
Right. 2017, 27 receptions, 312 yards, couple of TDs, 50 targets. Next year, he had 53 targets, 39 catches, 572 yardage, and last year, 4 receptions and 55 yards, and he had just 11 targets on that, kind of overshadowed by what the Browns had going. Well, but you mentioned he was in Freddie's doghouse. Freddie, you may not know this, but Freddie's not here anymore.
That's true. He's not here anymore. But the problem is for Rashard.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but the problem for Rashard Higgins is even though this front office knows him really well, Kevin Stefanski doesn't know him really well, and maybe he just doesn't fit what Kevin Stefanski wants to do right now. And I just think this is one of those positions where if he's still out there and there's no real rush, maybe you're okay losing him if that happens, but you can also slow play this a little bit and just sort of see how the market develops.
Yeah, well, you also have Baker Mayfield could be his best friend here, and he could suggest that he'd feel more comfortable if he had him. Apparently that hasn't happened yet, or it's happened and the coaching staff says, hang on, we'll make our own decision about this.
Yeah, we're in charge. We're going to make the roster decisions here.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right. You got Ratley and Hodge. You mentioned Hodge earlier today. And Ratley's kind of a guy, you heard his name, you forgot he was around, then all of a sudden you'd hear him once in a while. 24 targets for him, 10 for Hodge, 12 receptions for Ratley, and 4 for Hodge. 200 yards and 76, 1 touchdown between the two. Either of those two have a chance.
Again, I think khadarel-Hodge has a chance just because he can really make it as a special teamer, and I know he's one of the guys that Mike Prefer likes on special teams, so that always gives you an opportunity to maybe get on the field in another position as well if you're needed. Damion-Ratley, this is a fast guy. He's got some skill, but he's just never been able to do anything with it. He had a lot of drops last year. The ball ended up on the ground. There were times when he just needed to make a catch, and it didn't happen for this team. He just wasn't very reliable. So he's going to have a lot to prove coming into this year. If he's on that 90-man roster at training camp, he's going to have to earn his spot on this team. I think just because of the special team side of it, khadarel-Hodge probably has a better chance.
Well, as far as Ratley's concerned, with that resume summary you just gave, I'm not sure that there are too many teams lining up on the phone to get him, or the iPhone to get him.
Yeah, it's hard to really look at the film and say, okay, this is a guy that we absolutely want to get on our roster. I think he's going to have a chance to compete, and again, the physical skills are there. He's really fast. He's got the body of a wide receiver. He looks like an NFL wide receiver, but he's got to start making plays on a consistent basis.